And right now, everyone, I will introduce to you our very esteemed mayor, Alan Joines, who's taking time out of his busy schedule to join us to bring greetings on behalf of the city of Winston-Salem. Mayor Joines, you're up.
Thank you, Wanda, and good evening, everyone. I apologize for my video. I'm in my car. I'm running to another meeting since we do this, but I wanted to be a part of this because this is such an extraordinarily important event. We've had a number of demonstrations in our community over the past several months, but as you know, they have all been peaceful and have been productive and fruitful. And I think a lot of that is because of work that has been done already with these trust talks such as this. I want to congratulate the Human Relations Department and the board, as well as the police department, the whole staff there for working to this. And I want to thank all of you who have signed in tonight and be part of the small group discussions. These, please know that the work that you're doing is very important, that we take the information that you provide very seriously, and I promise you that it will be used as we continue to work to make our community even stronger and better. So Wanda, thank you for letting me join you tonight virtually, and I hope that everything goes very well.
Thank you so very much, Mayor Joines. We really appreciate your taking the time to be with us. And again, yes, we are hearing from our neighborhood leaders tonight, and we anticipate learning a lot from them about the needs and concerns from the community. Thanks again. Okay, up next, I do not see the agenda on the screen, but I do believe that up next we have our Assistant Chief of Police. And Assistant Chief Miles, are you on the call? I know you are, I just don't see your picture.
I am. Can you hear me fine?
Yes. Thank you so much, Assistant Chief Miles.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Assistant Chief Natasha Miles, and on behalf of Police Chief Katrina Thompson and the women and men of the Winston-Salem Police Department, I want to welcome you to this session of Trust Talks. I personally continue to be excited about Trust Talks because it gives us the opportunity to speak with you as members of our community to talk through issues and concerns that you may have. In particular, the mistrust between citizens and police has never been so profound. With the situations that we continuously see play out across the nation between the police and the community, we see personally how it affects our ability to police locally. These situations create barriers for us to police, and it becomes more difficult for us to meet your needs as a community, thus creating more stereotypes and misperceptions. Trust Talks affords us the opportunity to speak candidly about what is happening right here in Winston-Salem through open and honest dialogue in hopes of creating better understanding of why and how we as law enforcement officers respond the way we do. Together, we can only fix the issues that exist right here in Winston-Salem, and we really need you as a community to be at the table with us. We can create the environment for people to experience one another differently, and we know that communities are better when we know and trust one another, and police should be in that equation. I thank you all for taking the time to be here tonight. And it speaks highly of you as a community because you are here, and it says a lot about your love for Winston-Salem. I know that officers will gain valuable insight tonight from this conversation, and I hope that you will also. I look forward to hearing from you later in the conversation. Back to you, Wanda.
Thank you, Assistant Chief Miles. And just so everyone knows, we have a very huge advantage that a lot of communities don't have, in that we have a cooperative and supportive and highly engaged police department. And from its very inception, police has been 100% behind Trust Talks. And just to give you background, Trust Talks began back in 2011 when then Chief Cunningham happened to give me a call one afternoon, and he began talking to me about wanting to have some type of a community relations program that would assist the police with building trust in the community. So he asked me to kind of put on my thinking cap and try to figure out what it is that we could possibly do with the help of human relations. And so, of course, in the Human Relations Department, what we do in addition to investigating housing discrimination and also ensuring compliance with limited English proficiency programs, we also do programs like this one. We definitely support any and all programming that fosters positivity in the areas of race relations, social justice, and equity. And so we developed the Trust Talks program. We piloted it back in 2011, and it has been going ever since. And with Trust Talks, it is open to the public, but we do specialized Trust Talks programs too, like tonight's, which is focused on neighborhoods. In the past, we've done leadership Trust Talks, collegiate Trust Talks, teen Trust Talks, immigrant Trust Talks, and so on. But again, we've done them just generally too, without any specific population in mind. And so the whole purpose is to provide a safe platform for the public, our local community, to come together with police officers to talk about concerns and to talk about even things that are going very well, and to exchange information about what community and police can do better to work together for the betterment of our overall community. And so, you know, we all have stereotypes to overcome. Typically at this point in the Trust Talks program, we would be doing an icebreaker. But since we are doing this remotely, we cannot do that particular icebreaker. But some of the things that come out during the icebreaker is that everyone is susceptible to having stereotypes. And if you're honest with yourselves, and I have to be honest with myself too, even being the daughter of a retired highway patrolman, I have stereotypes about police. I know I do. And they're inherent in a lot of situations because of the type of society and the type of events that we witness on a daily basis, even if they're not necessarily in our own communities. But police also have stereotypes because they are human beings just like we are. We have stereotypes about people who may be of a different race. We have stereotypes about women, about men, about people who have disabilities, about certain religions, and so on. All of these things come into play when we are interacting with one another on a daily basis. And those interactions are not going to necessarily be to the exclusion of community and police interactions. So we really have to be mindful of that and understand that underneath the uniform and underneath whatever we wear, we are all pretty much the same. And we all do have stereotypes that we have to overcome. So just wanted to put that out there. But before we move on, what I'd like to do is give everyone on this call an opportunity to introduce him or herself. So what I'm asking is to do this quickly because we do have a number of people on this Zoom call. So would you please state your name, state your neighborhood, and maybe if you want to add one other thing about yourself, to do that as well. So I am looking at my screen, and the first person on my screen is Ms. Carolyn Highsmith. Ms. Highsmith, would you get us started, please? Are you there? Okay, we cannot hear you if you're there, so we're going to move on and go to the next person, but we'll come back to you. Okay, next up we have, and I know, I don't remember your rank, but I'm going to say Ms. Arndt. Just to be safe.
Oh, yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Corporal Arndt, and I'm currently serving in the Community Resources Unit, and I am over the Neighborhood Watch program and many other events. And so I'm very excited to be on the call with everyone this evening.
Thank you so much. Adolfo, you're up next.
Thank you, boss. My name is Adolfo Brusino. I work for the Human Relations Department, and I am a fair housing investigator and I also a mediator in the department. We mediate landlord-tenant issues.
Thank you. Mr. John Morris, you're up next.
Yes, I'm John Morris with the Winston-Salem Police Department. I'm currently assigned as the staff liaison public information officer of the chief of police, or the office of the chief of police. I've been here with the department 24 years.
Awesome. Thank you. Ms. Sarton, Commissioner Sarton. Can you unmute, please?
Yes. Hi, I'm Ruth Sarton. I'm a very happy commissioner on the Human Relations Commission. I'm also a 21-year veteran teacher at Reynolds High School.
Thank you, Commissioner Sarton. Ms. McKnight. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Good evening, everyone. I am Iris McKnight. I am an investigator as well with the Human Relations Department and also do mediation with landlords and tenants.
Thank you. Ms. Waldeck.
My name is Jamie Waldeck, and I am the outreach specialist for the Human Relations Department, and looking forward to facilitating one of the small groups tonight.
Thank you. Chairperson Leak.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Robert Leak III, and I'm the chairperson for the Human Relations Commission.
Thank you. Ms. Myra.
Hello, everyone. My name is Myra Ramirez, and I'm an intern at the Human Relations Department and a Salem College student.
Thank you. Ms. Hawkins. Can you unmute, please? We can't hear you. Can you turn up your volume? Okay, I think you were still trying to speak. At least I cannot hear you. I don't know if everyone else can. Can you try again to speak? Okay, we're going to circle back to you because we still can't quite hear you, okay? So we're going to move on, but we'll come back to you. Okay, Ms. Cruz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sierra Cruz. I'll be the technical assistant tonight, and I'm also a junior at North Carolina Central University, and I'm also from Winston-Salem as well.
And Ms. Cruz is also a human relations intern. So thank you. Ms. Jefferson, Tina Jefferson.
Hello, my name is Tina Jefferson. I'm a property manager at Providence Place Apartments, which is located in Happy Hill Gardens.
Thank you, Ms. Jefferson. Mr. Jeremy Henry.
Hey everybody, I'm Corporal Jeremy Henry. I work at the training division at the department, train future and upcoming officers and new officers as well. I've been with the department 14 years.
Thank you. Ms. Pamela Carey.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I am Pamela Carey. I am a resident of Easton community, and I'm also a member of the Easton Association.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Daphne.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Smith Sanders. I'm a senior criminal justice student with the minor in political science at North Carolina A&T, and I am a human relations intern as well, and a technical assistant tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Daphne. Ms. Marva Reed.
Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm Marva Reed. I am the president of the Extraordinary Northeast Winston Neighborhood Association.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Ms. Amber Baker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Amber Baker. Many of you may already know me from my work in the community, where I spent 12 years as the principal of Kimley Park Elementary School. And I continue on with my grassroots organizing and community involvement, and I'm glad to be here to be a part of the talks today.
Thank you so much. Captain Dobie.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brian Dobie. I'm a captain with the Winston-Salem Police Department, and I'm currently at the training division, and I have worked a few years with Wanda and participated in a few trust talks myself, so I'm happy to be here with everybody.
Thank you, Captain Dobie. Yes, you've been very involved in trust talks, and we certainly appreciate your support over the years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you close that door?
Next, we have Ms. Sanchez.
Good evening, Odette Sanchez, Executive Director for Latino Community Services, also known as El Buen Pastor Latino Community Services. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Happy to have you. Thank you. Ms. Charlene Simmons. Ms. Simmons, can you unmute? Okay, we're going to move on then to Ms. Mary Ford.
Hello, my name is Mary Ford. I am the Vice President of the Boston Thurman Community Neighborhood Association.
Thank you so much. Ms. Diaz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Angela Diaz, just a concerned citizen and activist here in community in Winston-Salem. Want to shout out to Miss Reed. I remember her. Just want to do my in whatever capacity I can. This is new. I was asked by Miss Peoples Joyner to come, so glad to be here.
Thank you. Ms. Lindsay Porter.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Porter. I'm the chairperson for the Hope Valley Neighborhood Association and a 5-year resident here in Winston-Salem.
Thank you. Officer Kreider.
Good evening, Officer Kreider. I've been with Trust Talks actually since 2011 as a rookie, and I'm in charge of the Explorer program in the Community Resource Unit.
Thank you, Officer Kreider. Yes, you've been with us from the beginning, and we appreciate you. Mrs. Adams. Mrs. Adams, can you unmute?
Thank you. Yes, my name is Barbara Adams, and I am a member of the Bellevue Community Organization, and I'm also the chairperson for the Crossland 1 and 2 neighborhood.
Thank you very much. Ms. Duncan.
Hi, my name is Carlin Duncan, and I am the intake specialist as well as the administrative assistant for the Human Relations Department.
Thank you very much. Sergeant Gettings.
Thank you very much. My name is Hassan Gettings. I'm a sergeant with the Winston-Salem Police Department over the Community Resources Unit. I've been out of the department almost 21 years now. Participated in several trust talks in the past. I enjoy them, and I appreciate new people showing up and have a little bit more diversity.
Thank you so much, Sergeant Gettings, and thank you for your support over the years as well. Miss Kimberly. I think, yeah, I was going to try to pronounce your last name, but
you can do it. I have faith in you. Try it.
I know what that's like. And plus I'm having an issue, but I think that it says Yukazato.
Perfect.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kimberly Ukazata with the Winston-Salem Police Department. I'm currently assigned to the wonderful Community Resources Unit, and I'm very honored to be here. Thank you, and I look forward to this wonderful evening.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Miss Claudia.
Good evening. I'm Officer Claudia Morgan. I am currently assigned to the Community Resource Unit. I've been with the police department for 28 plus years.
And excuse me, Officer Morgan, you have been with us from the very beginning as well, and we appreciate your support over the years with Trust Talk. So thank you so much. Ms. Vaughn. Ms. Vaughn, can you unmute for us, please?
Yes, I'm Lucy Vaughn, Vice President of the Dreamland Park Community Neighborhood Association, and this is my first Trust Talk. We're in revitalization, and I'm very excited about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Ms. Highsmith, can you hear us, and can you try again?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, well, I'm the president of the Connock Hills Community Association in South Winston-Salem, and I'm also a member of the Coalition for Neighborhood Presidents, and I've been a long-term neighborhood and community advocate.
Awesome, thank you so much. Ms. Angela Dodd.
Yes, my name is Angela Dodd. I'm at the Ladera Crest community, and I'm a community organizer.
Wonderful, thank you. Ms. Jeanette.
Yes. I'm Jeanette McSwain, and I'm with the Springfield Post 18A president. And Congressman Taylor's also reached out to me asking us to join this. It's my first time joining.
Thank you and welcome.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. Ms. Kanika.
Hi, I think I was muted a minute ago. I am actually Charlene Simmons, and I'm Vice President to President Kanika Brown of the Morningside Manor Community. Kanika is absent, and I'm filling in for she, and I vote.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Simmons. Sorry about that.
That's quite okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Ms. Shannon Brooks.
Hello, yes. I am actually currently the Vice President of the Eastern Neighborhood Association, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. We're happy to have you. And did I miss anyone? I have a feeling I might have. Did I miss anyone?
Officer Hawkins.
Say that again, please.
I believe Officer Hawkins had issues with her mic, and we haven't tried her again.
Okay, so is she on now?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Would you mind introducing yourself, please?
I'm Rivonia Hawkins. I'm currently assigned to the Community Resources Unit. I've been here 17 years, and I've been in this unit a little over a year.
Thank you, and it's good to see you and hear you. Thank you so much.
You too, Ms. Wanda.
So we've gotten the introductions done, and you all know who's on the call.
Wanda?
Pardon me?
Do you mind if I introduce Dr. Pam Peoples-Joyner? She's on the call but unable to introduce herself at the moment. She is our community specialist liaison.
Thank you so much, Assistant Miles, for doing that. Thank you. Is there anyone else that I might have missed?
Ma'am, I'm Sergeant Sammy Langdon with the Police Department's Training Division. I came in just a little bit late because I was having computer difficulties, but I'm here with you now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you and welcome. We're going to work to get your name there for your picture.
I apologize for that. That was the best that I could come up with.
No.
automatically.
You're okay. You're fine. We were doing that for a few others as well, so you're fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone. So at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to entrust you to your breakout groups, and we're going to we're going to conclude this segment, Trust Talks. Again, this was our introductory segment, and now we're going to go into the meat of what Trust Talks is all about. Again, during this session, you will be with a few other people in smaller groups, and you will be addressing some guided questions that your facilitator will have for you, and your technical assistants will be taking notes on a whiteboard in your group. And you will also nominate someone to be a spokesperson to present your top 3 takeaways once your discussions have concluded.
As I mentioned in my introduction, I teach at Reynolds High School. And I've been there 21 years. I love them. And it breaks my heart, some of the stories I hear. And breaks my heart when I turn on the television and I see my children on television. So how can we, the police and neighborhood leaders, reach out and work better together?
So I'll go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. So this is, I feel like one of my things that I was one of the children that didn't like police growing up. I'm not gonna say I didn't like police, but I strayed away from them because I was the typical kid that heard if I do something bad, police are going to get me.
Or you grow up here?
Growing up, I grew up in several different places, including the North and in High Point. So I stayed away, but I joined a program which I'm actually heading over now called the Explorer program. And I had one officer, and you hear so many instances where everybody remembers their SOR officer, or they remember their Super Kids officer, or they remember their DARE officer, that my officer told me, and he told me specifically, he said, if you think that I'm the enemy, come to one of my meetings and I'll show you what we're about. That was when I was 15 years old. And he told me everything. I had a blast. I didn't go to school to be a police officer. I went to school for accounting.
Right.
And that stuck with me whenever that big AIG bubble happened in 2004. And I said, you know what? I want to do something for my community. I want to be the difference than what's actually happening. And so I joined the police department. And 8 years later, I'm over the youth program that taught me how to become a police officer. And now I feel I'm not changing everyone's lives, but I'm changing people's worlds one at a time as much as I can. Here in the past 3 years, I've had 3 kids. I call them kids, they're 21 now, but I had 3 explorers who not only started in the police department, it started with the Explorer program, but they've actually earned their badges. And that's one of my biggest accomplishments, my proudest moments, because one of the kids, he was going to turn into gangs. He was turning towards gangs. And that's one of the things, like I said, I know I can't save everybody, but if I save one person, I'm happy. And that just makes my whole career.
What Officer Critter is doing, that is so awesome. Those are the stories we don't hear about when we make our complaints. And I again, kudos to you. And I know it makes you feel good. And I know why you may what I say, it hurt. But you are one of few. I don't think we don't see that in our community. I have young children running around this neighborhood and learning a lot of bad things from their parents and their grandparents. And it's hurtful to see that they have no guidance, no structure, no life direction. And I applaud you. I really, really do. And you are the ones that go unseen. So I appreciate when you do, when any officer speak up and say, wait a minute, this is what I'm doing. This is what we're doing. And I realize you are only one person, but we like to know, what are you doing as a group? Because it's going to take a group to come in and disperse through a community and maybe have some kind of organized program that a majority of a community feel like that there's alternatives to the lifestyle that they're living.
Is police brutality perceived to be an issue in our local community?
I'm not sure how it is citywide, but I'm pretty sure that in our community we feel that it's more prevalent over here, just because and I'm not sure if it's because we get more police calls or what the issue is, but I feel like the issue is bigger in our communities.
Mm-hmm. In the African American community.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Carolyn?
Well, I'm coming from a diverse neighborhood, so the idea of police brutality hasn't been an issue. For most of the time, we have fairly good interactions with police officers when we have issues, and then occasionally we'll just have what our neighbors will call rude police officers, but it's never been an issue with police brutality.
I witnessed some things where I might have thought that the interaction with police might have been just a little bit too forceful, or it could have been handled a better way, but I don't know if they really crossed the line. I don't know if I really witnessed police brutality. You know, you may mention in one of our CNAP, our coalition groups, that police officers might need to have better training with mental illness people. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that could have been a situation where it was a situation where a guy was clearly maybe abusing or misusing some kind of drug or whatever, and it's maybe that officer just didn't use the right technique to handle that. But I wouldn't say it was brutality. It was just he just didn't use the right techniques at that time, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And you know, I see it a lot. I see officers is kind of fed up because it's, you know, over in our community, it's the same houses, it's the same people, it's the same thing, and it's the officers coming for the same people, the same residents all the time, and you know, they just kind of tired, I guess, you know, when they.
So I've been in our training division for the last 3.5 years. And I will tell you that the Winston-Salem Police Department are some of the best trained officers, not in just North Carolina, but in the country, regarding everything from de-escalation to when we have to put hands on people. I would say there's a percentage of our interactions with people where they don't understand the ramifications and our ground rules when we do have to put hands on people and what we can and can't do. So there are times when we have to put hands on people, and it is a forceful event, but does not necessarily rise to the level of what people would consider brutality. You know, I could probably answer for most people on a daily basis. I'd prefer not to put hands on people. But if we have to, we're well trained in what we're supposed to do to get the job done. to get people in custody, to take control of people, and then go on and resolve the situation how we need to. But we have some of the best training, like I said, not in just North Carolina, but in the country. We go through hours and hours of de-escalation. Every year, the Winston-Salem Police Department spends at least 4 to 8 hours on control techniques. That's not anything that's even mandated by the state. That's just something that we do internally. We do it with regards to driving. We do it with regards to firearms. Every year you're looking at least probably about 40 hours plus of just training of all sorts every year per officer.
There's no doubt that we need our police department. The neighborhood benefits when there's respect both ways, communication both ways with the police department and the people in the neighborhood. So like this new community policing thing, I think it's great for neighborhoods. I think it's great for the city, and I think it's great for younger kids that live in our community, so they can kind of do away with the stereotypical the police is it's not for you, it's not your friend. I think it's very much needed to try to steer away from those types of things.
And I agree that community police partnerships are critical to keeping for neighborhoods to understand the role of the police in the community, and vice versa for the police officers to learn the neighborhoods. I've just seen a decline in community police partnerships in relationship to the decline in police officers. When you can have more officers on the street, then they have more time to interact and build those types of relationships. When you're in a patrol car all the time, then it becomes much more difficult.
We have a lot of programs with our youth. We actually have a new initiative program that's going to start with our youth from the small ages of 2. So if you can see behind me, you hear Paw Patrol on my wall.
Mm-hmm.
I am over that program where we are having Paw Patrol join forces with McGruff, which came out during my time. But the kids these days don't know who McGruff is. So we've added Paw Patrol. So we'll go to like the daycares and preschools and elementary schools and go in, and the Paw Patrol characters will interact with the kids along with the police officer in uniform. And they will, talk to them about their ABCs, important questions about, knowing your name, knowing your mother's name other than mom, just same stuff that, they're being taught in the preschools and daycares and elementary, but joining forces with those teachers and educational personnel. So we're getting ready to start that. Well, we actually started, but COVID came in and stopped a lot of stuff, but we still have been taking them out into the community, doing drive-by birthday parties for kids, even elderly people. And we also have the Explorer program, and I believe they can start coming into the program at 12 or 13 years old, and that's for girls or boys. Officer Mike Kreider is over that in the community resources, and you can look him up online for any juvenile that that may need, some just extra guidance and extra time with a police officer or just a role model. Even if they don't have rides, he'll go out and pick them up, feed them. And we work with him, if there's more females in there, then some of us will go and help sort of be a balance. But we do, we had some things that we did up at the Coliseum where the kids can go every Friday. And, sometimes the kids didn't act so great, so it kind of got out of hand. But we're still trying. We're not going to give up on them, but we're still trying to continue to get more programs where the kids have somewhere to go, where these recreations, maybe they're cutting hours because of pay, or whatever the case may be. But the Explorer program is not going anywhere. It's always here. They get to interact with the officers. They get to meet different divisions, such as the bomb squad, the K9 squad. They get to meet forensics and go through different cases that the forensics will make up, but it's still a line of what they're doing. So we also have Community Police Academy, and that's for anyone that's 21 and up. And we have that goes on 13 weeks. However, COVID has shut that down, but it's been going on for years as far as getting people who just, curious about what we do. And you actually get a graduate certificate, It's a lot of programs that we continue to try to implement and keep up with the latest trends.
To me, there's a sense of that they are, because of the climate that we are, experiencing in our country, there's a sense of that there is a distrust and they're not really fearful of the police.
From personal experience, I was on patrol over 16 years. And just like Ms. Smith, Daphne Smith said, when that officer makes contact with a juvenile or an adult, that first impression, just like you doing an interview, is going to be what they remember. So I know, as we try to make sure that we're coming in on a positive note, interacting with the community. It's been times where I just knock on somebody's door and it's like, what's wrong? I said, nothing. I just wanted to know, want to introduce myself and just let you know that I'm patrolling this area. And then I say, I just want to know if you have any concerns, and I'll leave my card, and we all have cards to give out, and we tell them that you can leave their concerns without leaving their names, because I understand that sometimes people don't want to leave their information.
Trust is bred, and it takes investment. You can't expect anybody right out of the gate, just automatic trust. I mean, like she said, you need to get out on foot. You need to talk to people. 80% of our job should be talking to people. However, hopefully in an environment that's positive. But that trust is only bred as much as you invest into it.
Well, we find is that when we begin to trust that officer in our community, and when that officer begins to, do he or she does their great due diligence in our community, the police department relocate the officer to another community. And so that's why I wanted to bring that question up, because I see now that in my community that when a rapport is built with that officer, next month, you don't know what officer is going to be assigned to the community.
The schedule was designed to allow the community to get to know the officers that work in their community. And in that design, you got the same officer working the same beat, the same time of day, for the most part, the same days of every week. And so that was designed to help the officers get to know the people in the community and vice versa. And so that, along with other things that we've put out there, we are hopeful that that's happening.
In a time when everybody communicates with social media, they lose the art of talking face to face. And so I think we've lost some of that, where if you want to just talk to somebody about anything, going to them unsolicited is already start to be problematic. If you're out having a barbecue, or you're grilling out with your family, and I'm walking down the street and I come up and say, hey, I'm Corporal Henry of the police department, how are you? It doesn't matter what neighborhood you're in, people are like, well, why are you really talking to us right now?
When an officer does, pull anyone over, regardless of
of what race it is, I think that an officer sort of kind of sets the tone for the entire, incident. I think because the officer is the one that, at this point, he is the one in control because he is the officer of the law. So I do feel like that an officer can actually set the entire tone for how this is going to turn out simply by the way that he approaches the situation. He can approach the situation by saying, "Hi there, how are you? How's everybody?" So that gives a pleasant approach. You have some officers that might come up and approach you in a way that makes you automatically feel like I have to go into defense mode. So I think that, and at the same time, you have to look at things vice versa. The person that's being pulled over can be aggressive as well. So I think that it's important, since the officer is the person that's going to be in control of the situation because he is the law, that I think that is very important for that officer to set the tone when he first approaches someone that he pulls over. Unfortunately, we have a lot of parents that are teaching their children that officers are awful. And, when the children see officers, instead of them, looking at the officer like this is a person that can save my life or help me, they're looking at the officers like this person is someone I should run from, and instead of the other way around. So I'm the first person to raise my hand and tell everybody, hey, I've had plenty of officers, being that I was a victim once upon a time ago of domestic violence. And had I not been able to pick up the phone and call 911, I may not be sitting here talking to you guys tonight. So just like you have people that may not be on the up and up in the community, we have officers that may not be on the up and up.
Now, as far as communication is concerned, I think that's something that we both need to work on. Nobody can hear you when you are speaking loudly. And I'm going to use this as an example. When officers arrive to a situation, I'm assuming they are there to take care of that situation. They are not there to hear you say, "How come it took you?" That's a problem right there. So instead of them concentrating on the problem, we're off on something else, which to me, that breaks down communication. So we need to learn to talk to one another. We need to learn how to communicate with one another on that aspect, and understanding that the police, they have a really hard job. And when I think about the police, the first thing I think about is what's written on the side of the car: to protect and serve. Mm-hmm. That's what I think about. And that's what I instilled in my children as they were growing up. I have grandchildren now, and that's what I instill in them. I instill protect and serve.
So we appreciate all the input, and it's very welcomed. And we also really appreciate the openness to realize that it's a common ground we all need to come to, that there's a give and take on both sides. And we appreciate not being painted with a broad brush that you see all across the country, that our officers get judged based on what you see and how they act. That goes a long way with building community trust, because we think we have a really good police department, and we push community resources and community outreach really hard, and trying to sell our brand out in the community to let everybody know we are here to serve and protect.
Yes, I would like to make a comment on what was just said about the officers coming to the communities dressed down, because uniforms do make people feel intimidated or threatened. And there used to be a time when they called them, officer, Officer Good or something, when they came to the school, and the kids, would love to see them. But now even people in the community, when they see people talking to a police officer in uniform, they already label that person as a snitch. And it kind of brings on a divide in the community because they feel like every time something happens, you the one told it. So, you know, to see them coming around dressed down.
You know, we all have to pass this life over to the next generation. So we have to prepare our youth for one day when we're no longer going to be here. And, you know, if it's one thing that I just dislike more than anything is the snitch code that a lot of the children have out there in the streets. And so this is where the police officers cannot do it all, you know, because everything starts at home. And parents need to get back to those old-fashioned ways, and we need to teach our children. You don't have to snitch, but you do have to tell the truth, because a lot of things would not take place if it wasn't for people honoring a snitch code. You know, if people thought that someone would, you know, tell the truth, and, you know, a lot of things wouldn't take place.
Yeah, in my community, I would like to say, no, I've not heard anybody say anything negative about brutality in this community. And that's why I was saying I would like to keep it like that.
Okay,
You know,
absolutely.
when you have police officers being visible, because a lot of time when it comes to crime, it's not the people in the community, it's what's brought into the community.
I think small partnerships, I think that the same way we divided this large group tonight into small groups, I think it's important to, you know, start with a small group or different small groups with officers and community leaders. You know, kids are fascinated by, at the same time, they're fascinated by uniforms. They're also intimidated by uniforms. So I think that a way to bridge the gap is just to start in small little groups, you know, just a small intimate gathering. Believe it or not, if you invite 10 kids to a place and we have things that are fun for them there, and then also look over there, there's a police officer. Look at him. He's normal. He's having fun. He's just like us, except he protects and he serves. So we have to get these children to get back to the point where we can trust our police officers. You know, it's very unfortunate that we can't even just do this with children. We have to do this with their parents. We have to educate the parents, because the parents are sometimes the ones that are telling the children, you know, whatever you do, don't call 911. Don't trust the police officers. Whatever you do, if you see them, go the other way. You know, so we have to reform the parents in order to reform the children's thought process, because unfortunately children listen to, you know, their parents. So we have a big issue here that sounds like it needs to be broken down into small groups. We need to, you know, get back to the basics.
I am happy to see everybody back. It looks like we have everyone, all the groups are back together. And so now we are at the point of the final session. And as I'd mentioned early on, this session will be fully recorded and will be shown as a part of the final video that will be aired to the public on WSTV 13, the government channel, on the City of Winston-Salem's website, and also on the City of Winston-Salem's YouTube channel. So it will be widely available on social media, and for those who are able to watch WSTV 13, you will see it there too. Okay, so everyone should have their top 3 takeaways. And so can we please have a volunteer group to go first and to present your top 3 takeaways? And just while everybody is deciding what order they'd like to go in, I'd like to remind you all that these takeaways will be used by the Winston-Salem Police Department for training purposes. So we didn't have you to go through these talks and to do all of this work that you've done tonight for nothing. This information will be used by the police department for training purposes. So know that your input and your insights really will make a direct impact. Okay, so who'd like to go first?
I can go first, but my whiteboard actually had got deleted due to us coming back to the chat. But our three main takeaways was one, that we all agreed that we need better programming for the youth, especially one that leaves a positive impact within the youth community. The second,
Daphne, excuse me. Let me interrupt you. So, do you have anything in any kind of written format at all, or
it actually disappeared?
Okay. And can you tell us what group you are representing and who the moderator was?
My moderator was Mr. Robert Leak III, and I was representing the first group. So the first one that we had takeaway was that we need better programming for the youth. It's very, very important within like the citizens and to the people that was in our group that we need a better program for youth with a positive impact. A second one was that with police brutality within the Winston-Salem community, it's not a lot of, we don't see that a lot, but that's due to the very effectiveness training that is going down. And three, that we need better communication.
No. Mental health response team.
Oh, yes, sorry.
I interject on the third one. We needed the third one was we wanted a more rapid mental health response team developed locally.
Okay, awesome. Okay, thank you so very much. Did anyone else from Group 1 have anything to add? Chair Leak, did you have anything to add?
Yes, I will say that we did discuss, and thank you, Daphne, for being our scriber as well, our spokesperson as well tonight. You did an awesome job. We did find out in regards to why the officers are not just assigned to a certain, they are assigned to a certain neighborhood, but not for a longer period of time. And Captain Miles, she alludes to that, and she really gave us more knowledge and around that. Basically, she stated that, of course, they would love for the officers to be assigned to a specific neighborhood, for a longer amount of time, but because of the turnover rate within the officers internally in the police department, but secondly, sometimes the officers can also change their shifts in regards to their lifestyle, spending more time with their family, or just period, they want a different environment they would probably want to work in. So I actually took off my chair hat and put on the leader hat in the community and asked Captain Miles, why is that so that we see a lot of officers moved out of our communities when the community has built that rapport and that trust with that officer? But she gave us knowledge and insight in the reasons why.
Okay, Chair Leak, thank you. And was Assistant Chief Miles the person who gave you that feedback?
He was, yes.
Okay, Assistant Chief Miles, okay.
Yeah.
And Assistant Chief, did you have anything that you'd like to add?
Well, I kind of floated around to all of the groups. I'll just first like to say I can appreciate the dialogue that was going on. And I kind of elaborated that there are a variety of reasons why officers may not be in a community as long as people would love for them to be. But there are many variables that involved in that. Some related to promotions. When an officer is promoted, they typically are moved from that particular squad, that particular assignment, and moved to another location. And so we have frequent promotions. And so oftentimes a lot of people are being moved at one time. We also have a bidding process where officers can bid for their shift annually. And so if an officer is in your neighborhood for a year, there's a possibility that they may move after that year because of shift preferences and things of that nature. And so again, good dialogue, good topics to talk, good engagement. And so I just hope everyone took something away from this conversation.
Thanks so much, Assistant Chief Miles, and thank you for offering your insights in the small group discussion as well. We appreciate that. Okay, next up, do we have another volunteer group?
Two.
Group 2, Ms. Reed?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I found it very interesting. A first takeaway was our concern for it. This is an ongoing concern. And I think it's because we look at our police department as stars, you know, and so we feel like they owe our community to continue to network, find some way to network with our youth. And it's very important, especially in the East Ward community. Also, we feel like they should, the Winston-Salem Police Department should be stakeholders in our communities and in the communities in which they serve. And one of the other things that we were concerned with, which we decided, we sort of agreed that there should be some other kind of roundtable developed around our mental health crisis, whereas we can make policy, and we are in agreement that there should be more policy made when it comes to helping our mental people in our community.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Reed. And that was group 2. So did anyone have anything to add to what has already been shared? Who was the facilitator for group 2?
I was, and Sierra did the transcribing.
Awesome. Commissioner Sarton, did you have anything to add?
Wonderful.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Who's next? Who would like to go next?
I'm Sergeant Langdon. I was nominated by Group 3 to be our speaker. Our moderator was Mr. Adolfo Bricino, who did a fantastic job of making sure that we moved along, because there was a lot of people who had quite a bit to say, and it was absolutely fantastic. Our 3 takeaways were that there is a recognized mistrust that we suffer from at a national level. There are police officers who show up expecting not to be trusted by minority communities, and there are minority communities who are unfortunately raised from a very young age to not have much faith in the police department, and that it was going to take active work on the behalf of the agency that serves the community to make sure that we are not subscribing to that stigma and to show up ready to serve, as well as expecting our community members to step up and actually give us a chance to be trusted. One of the biggest things that was our second point was there was a lot of talk about police dereliction or unprofessional actions taken by police, but that it was not common knowledge that you could effectively report such a thing and actually hold that officer accountable, and that information needs to be brought out. Is that as a community, in the event that you see something that you don't feel is right, you should have the knowledge and the belief and the strength that you can go ahead and say something to our agency leaders and they will handle it. As the other groups have already said, youth involvement is key, because if we don't get our young folks involved in how this community is going to be, then it won't be shaped in an area of trust from them and their community leaders with the police officers and the other first responders, to where eventually when they become community leaders themselves, that they're sort of continuing on with that idea of bringing everybody in. And then at the request of several people, this is not a fourth part, but something that we felt was going to needs to be said, is that all police officers should handle every community that they work and serve equally and give them the absolute best that they could, and not change the way that they police from community to community, but that it is incumbent upon that police officer to recognize the needs of that community and to find out where their services are most needed and how they can best help that community, because if they're trying to address problems that aren't there, or they're missing problems that are, then that community isn't getting the service that they deserve, and that it falls to the officer to make sure that that's never the case.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. So group 3, do we have any additional comments? Adolfo, did you need to add anything?
I just would like to put Ms. Sanchez and Ms. Vaughn on the spot. Ms. Sanchez, Odette Sanchez talked about having perhaps.
Yes, we also discussed that.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Oh, go ahead.
Ms. Vaughn, everybody wants to hear from you, ma'am.
Well, I think she's not.
Were you talking to? Okay, I just wanted to thank Sergeant Langdon. It was wonderful. I learned a lot, and I also wanted to say we also discussed the county.
I think we lost the audio.
Yeah, I cannot hear her.
Okay.
In the meantime, probably Ms. Sanchez could also mention something. She mentioned that it could be very, very nice if some police officer would go in plain clothes to some events at her organization, at Latino Community Services. If Ms. Sanchez, if you're still in hearing, you probably could explain your.
Absolutely, I'm glad to. Odette Sanchez with Latino Community Services. One of the things that I wanted to express, first, my gratitude to the police department, all the way from the beginning, from the top with Chief Thompson, and doing an excellent job. Also, the fact that we would love to have more of a community involvement and partnership with the police department, where we can actually come in a very relaxed environment and break bread together, and just asking the police department if they can actually come and represent while on duty, but not assigned to a specific duty. The duty will be just to be with the community on civil clothes. I think that it will be less intimidating when they come on civil clothes, because we want to get to know the actual individual. And then after we have get to know each other, then express what they do in the community, so that the community members can see that the police officers are human beings, are a father, a son, a sister, a mother, and aunt. That's what we would like to have more of that, or in my experience, to begin doing that and learn about our cultures also as well. So be sympathetic to our cultures also as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sanchez. We appreciate that. Anybody else from group 3? Okay. And our final group, last but certainly not least, group 4.
I was elected to go for group 4.
Awesome.
So we broke communication, partnership, and accountability were our 3 main topics. And then we added, if everybody else can see the screen, we added a few things to each one. But with communication, we spoke, and we had some very good communication in our own group and dialogue back and forth about what officers need to do, but also what citizens need to do, so we help each other have a successful outcome. So communication was a big part. Body language, setting the right tone, professional, transparent, letting everybody know what's going on, why things are happening, just talking and treating everybody like everybody else would like to be treated. Spending time, and I know I've already heard this a couple of times, spending more time in the communities, more in a dress down atmosphere, out of the uniform, in a more non-enforcement, non-police role type. And then forming community partnerships with other community groups and community members to go out into areas where the walls may still be pretty hard, and people may not be open to a lot of interaction with police because of previous experiences or the media or whatever that may have happened, but helping go out in the community and break down these walls so that the trust is open, the dialogue's there, and we continue to build public trust. And then we took accountability. That is on both sides. The citizens holding us accountable, us holding them accountable to help us do our job. Everybody knows that the police can't be everywhere at all times, so we need the citizens to be able to help us. There was some good conversation about the snitching code and how people do need to talk to the police because we need the information to help keep everybody safe. So that's where holding everybody accountable and holding everybody accountable for our behavior, our professionalism, and the way we treat each other as well. So I think I've covered our 3 topics.
Thank you so much, Captain Dobie. Is there anyone from Group 4? Jamie, I know you were the moderator. Anyone from Group 4 who would like to add anything?
I would just add that with that partnerships, it was discussed a few times that, you know, one expectation of community leaders would be to help just build the relationships in the communities by showing the example of, you know, being visible, talking to officers, being in the community and visible. So it doesn't, you know, the partnerships didn't just need to be with events or, but just being that partner and supporting each other so that we can see positive dialogues in the community between each other. And maybe that would help support the snitch issue that Captain Dobie spoke about.
Awesome, awesome. Would anyone else like to add to Group 4 from Group 4? Okay. And for the good of the order, any comments or thoughts? And as you all are thinking about any last comments you may want to make, I would just like to say that Trust Talks is intended to be one of the inroads, one of the conduits, one of the ways to encourage and facilitate dialogue between the community and police. We realize this is not going to be the silver bullet, no pun intended. It's not going to be the magic solution to everything. But we just look at this as a mechanism of one way that our local community can come together and have this type of dialogue. And unfortunately, we can't do it in person. I think that there's a lot to be said for having it face-to-face in person, but I think that you all have done an absolutely dynamic job having this type of conversation remotely. That says a lot about you all as citizens, as residents, and as police. It says a lot about you, and I think it's dynamic. Any other thoughts before we close out? Assistant Chief, you have any thoughts you'd like to share? Those are my closing thoughts.
I'll just add, again, thank everyone for being here tonight. It was enlightening to hear the dialogue, and I hope that we've come to a better understanding. And as previously mentioned, again, I hope you have gained valuable insight from the conversation. And this is the very thing that will break down the barriers and begin a blazing path for our community. We have to have these conversations and talk through the issues in order for both sides to be able to work towards a common goal. And again, I appreciate your attendance tonight and look forward to continue working with you all.
Thank you, Assistant Chief. And I'd like to give our Human Relations Commission Chairperson, Pastor Robert Leek, the final word. Neighborhood Trust Talks was his vision. This is something that he envisioned and talked about with us for quite some time. I'm not going to say how long, Robert, but we finally did it and got this actually accomplished. And so would you mind closing us out and sharing a few words? Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Juana Allen Arbahar. Thank you all so much for attending the Trust Talk. This was something that, of course, that I talked to Attorney Arbahar probably about 2 years ago, serving on the commission for the Human Relations Commission. And during that time, I think I must have bugged her too many times because finally, she stated to me, well, if you can get the folks together to have this conversation, we can make it happen. So thank you, Attorney Arbahar, and to her amazing staff, Jamie Adolfo, as well, Iris, and to the interns as well. Thank you all for your support, Daphne, as well as Sierra, in regards to pulling this together. And also thank you to all of the neighborhood leaders who actually attended to our night's Trust Talks. I know a lot of familiar faces and some I do not know from working in the community for so long. But tonight, conversations that was held tonight was not conversations to bash your police or not to bash any certain neighborhood, but it was a sense of unity to come across from all genres of the city. Because don't we need unity in our city, and especially in the times that we are residing here in our country. So I am so thankful that we all could just come together, even though we don't have any bread, Sister Adetta, but we do have our voice to use at the table. And in different areas of our communities, we experience so much. But I believe that we all have the same issues, but it's just sometimes certain neighborhood issues does not make it on News Channel 12 or News Channel 10 at 11 o'clock p.m. So I'm thankful to every last one of you all, every neighborhood association leader, president, representatives of your associations. We all are leaders in our communities, and we all can help make a difference to change our neighborhood. So thank you all so much, and kudos again to the Human Relations Department, as well to my colleague, Commissioner Sarton, as well to my colleague and absent Vice Chair, Commissioner Wiggs. And thank you all again to our Winston Police Department officers as well. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you, Carlin, for being a floater, and Myra.
Carlin, I forgot about Carlin. I'm sorry, Carlin.
Yes, that's okay. I just want to make sure we thanked everybody, and Myra and Larry Bell from marketing. Thank you for your patience and your time. Larry, you are absolutely phenomenal, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Everyone, we hope to see you or hear from you in some shape, form, or fashion in the future. If you ever need us, please reach out to us. We'll do our best to serve you as always.
Wanda?
On behalf of the City of Winston-Salem, thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful evening.
Hey, Wanda?
Yes.
Before everyone leaves, you mind if I just put some information out there?
Please, go ahead, Assistant Chief. Sure.
So we do have different programs in place. We have a Citizens Police Academy. It is a 13-week program. You register there's an application process and register online, and you're selected through there. We have a Police Explorer program. You have to be age 14 to age of 20. And in that program, we're grooming young people to be police officers. We need a diverse group of officers. We need officers that look like the community we serve. And so I encourage you all to point people in our direction. It's a great career. We do have some programs in place where we pay full tuitions for college tuitions for juniors through their senior year in high school. We also have a cadet program where we bring in young people and we put them through Forsyth Tech, pay for their education at Forsyth Tech. And when the days that they're off, they work here at the police department and receive a paycheck. And so there are many things that we do as an agency to solicit interest in law enforcement. And I encourage you as a community to take part in some of the programming that we have. And thank you again.
Thanks, Assistant Chief Miles. Thanks, everybody. Take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.